G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome to my list of 15 tips and tricks for Path of Exile that you might have missed. These are the types of things that over the past 2 or so years of playing Path of Exile, I've accrued a bit of a list of and often get asked about on my channel in my YouTube comments. People usually see something like, oh, how did you use multiple scrolls of wisdoms? And then they ask that in the comments below, and these things tend to get repeated over time. So let's jump straight into it. At number 15 we have, you can quickly shift things to and from your stash, and even buy and sell from vendors by holding down Control and left clicking items. I can't even begin to imagine the amount of time that this one has saved since it was implemented in closed beta. I still remember that day very fondly. At number 14 we have, if you have some gems you plan on using later and want to level up, then you can simply socket them in a weapon or shield in your alternate weapon set. I often tend to take advantage of this to level up high value support gems or just normal gems in general to sell to other people or to use the GCP quality recipe with. At number 13 we have, typing /passives into the chat window will tell you exactly which passive point quest rewards your character has received so far. This is a good way to find out whether you've accidentally missed any. At number 12 we have, auras don't need to be on your hotbar to be active. You can simply activate them and then switch that hotbar slot to something else. This is handy if you run multiple auras and skills and can't fit everything on your hotbar. At number 11 we have, if you mouse over an item either in your inventory, in a shop or in the chat window, you can actually press Ctrl-C to copy its details to your clipboard. Pressing Ctrl-V in Notepad or any other text field outside of the game will then allow you to paste these details for that item. This is great if you want to describe an item to a friend or link it to someone outside of the Path of Exile forums. At number 10 we have, typing /remaining into the chat box will tell you how many mobs remain in your current instance. This isn't too useful outside of maps, but in maps it's extremely helpful as it tells you whether you've missed any larger packs. It'll say more than 20 remaining if you've only just started the map, and maybe if there's more than 20 remaining, but as you get closer down it'll say something like 19 remaining or 5 remaining or 1 remaining, and then you know you can safely leave the map without missing too much. At number 9 we have, pressing F1 will bring up an overlay that shows a few useful pieces of info, such as graphs of latency and your frame rate. I tend to use this a lot while recording to see my frame rate and see that I'm actually recording, but the latency graph is pretty useful for anyone for seeing whether you're lagging out. If you're kind of jumping around, desyncing a fair bit, maybe you can press F1 and check whether it's just that you're lagging. At number 8 we have, control clicking passives in the skill tree will allocate them without you needing to go through the pop-up box. This is a great way to save time in your passive skill tree while racing. Number 7, it's highly recommended that you bind move only to your left mouse button. Since left click is your primary move button, you'll be using it all the time when you're panicking and trying to get away from things that are killing you. If you have it bound to an attack, you'll sometimes accidentally attack mobs when you would much rather be running away, which can and will get you killed. This is probably the first thing I do on any character I create once I pick up my first skill gem. Number 6, you can control the spread of some multiple projectile attacks and spells. Aiming far away from your character will cause the projectiles to cluster tightly together, while aiming closer to your character will cause them to spread further apart. This is very handy for having fine control over your skills when you're trying to AoE down packs that are either clustered tightly together or that are kind of just spread out across the screen. Number 5. Now, if your gaming rig is a bit closer to a toaster than a computer, but you still want to play Path of Exile, then there is a way to squeeze out a few more FPS. Go to the production config.ini file in Libraries, Documents, My Games, Path of Exile, and change the texture quality setting. The highest graphics setting is 0, with 1, 2, 3 and so on being incrementally lower graphics settings. Setting this to 5 or higher will make your Path of Exile look like it was rendered by hand in a claymation studio, but it might just be enough to get Path of Exile running on your rig. Number 4, you can easily find a Lyras Bandit camp and the routes in Act 2 by keeping an eye out for the crumbled section of road that you can see on screen. Simply follow the worn path from here to your destination. Number 3, you can lower the level of a gem by 1 level if you trade said gem to a vendor along with the Scouring Orb. This is handy if you happen to accidentally level your cast on damage taken gem a little bit too high 8 times in a row. Yeah, that actually happened. Number 2, you can find out your character's age down to the second by typing in /age to the chat box. You can also keep track of how many times you've died by typing in /deaths. And finally, number 1. Now, although the rest of this list wasn't really in any particular order, I did put this one at number 1 because it's one that's constantly asked about in my videos. About maybe every day I probably get a comment about this, especially if I happen to use this in a recent video. Here it is. Holding shift while using currency items will allow you to continue using that currency type without needing to right-click the stack each time. This has probably been one of the single biggest quality of life improvements in Path of Exile, since it allows you to do things like fully quality a rare item where you would otherwise have to right click a stack of armorer's scraps 20 times to be able to quality that item. It allows you to identify inventories full of gear, and allows you to craft items with alterations and things like that with just so much more ease. It's one of those things that I think a lot of people facepalm when they first learn about and realize they've been doing it the hard way for a very long time. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this list, and hopefully there was a few things on this list that you didn't know about and maybe happened to miss. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.